This is Things Police See, First-Hand Accounts, with your host, Steve Gold.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast that interviews active and retired police officers about their most intense, bizarre, and sometimes humorous moments on the job. Thank you for joining us. This is episode number 58, and our guest is a North Carolina deputy sheriff. His name is Hunter Guimbellot, and I'm psyched to have him. He's a young guy, I'm guessing. He applied to be on the show through the website, and it looks like he has 4 years on, so I'm guessing he's a younger guy, but it looks like he's already got his wet his whistle a little bit, let's say, when it comes to fast and dirty stories. So I'm excited to have him. I'm hoping he's got the southern twang going on. I love that. I love a little character in the voice. As I've said before, I'm native to the Northeast, and pretty much everybody talks like a newscaster up there, unless you're around Boston, and then you talk like a retard. Oh, right. Just kidding, guys. The Boston accent is also endearing. All right, don't get on me about that. Okay, let's see. I'm going to dial him in right now. Stand by one.
Yeah, hello.
Hunter Guimbellot, welcome to the show, man. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, and I do detect a little bit of southern draw in that voice.
Oh yeah, I'm here in North Carolina, but actually I'm originally from Louisiana, man.
Oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. How'd you get to North Carolina?
My lovely wife. I followed her up here.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well, if there's any reason to move, that's it.
Yeah. She's from here and she's the boss. So, she said, "Hey, we're going back," and here I am.
Excellent. And how long have you been in law enforcement now?
So I started in 2016, so about 4 years.
Okay, and you work for county sheriff?
Yeah, I've been with the sheriff's department all 4 years. I started in the jail, and I'm on patrol now.
Okay, so this is kind of like that's kind of a common theme, it seems like, with sheriff's departments. You got to do a little time inside before you hit the road.
Yeah, I think so. It's not necessarily here. It's not something that you have to do, but it's just the route that I took, and I'm glad I did. I feel like starting in the jail really gives you kind of puts you a step ahead of a lot of guys because, especially in a small community like I work, those people that you deal with in the jail are the same people you're going to see on the street. So you already have that rapport, you know how to deal with people. So, I wouldn't go back to the jail, but I'm glad I started there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I remember I used to drop off prisoners to our county jail, and those guys, those younger deputies who started at the same time I started my police career were they do a lot of handcuffing and a lot of searching and a lot of they spend a lot of time with criminals. And it's kind of a really good controlled introduction to law enforcement.
Yeah, I would say so. And then, like I said, to me, the biggest thing, because I'm not a talker, so this is a little bit different for me being on the show, but it's just, you're stuck with those people, 12 hours a day. So you have to talk. So you learn how to talk to people, especially criminals. So, you're learning how to talk to them, how to deal with them. And that, like I said, that helped tremendously. Not
a talker, man. What are you doing on this podcast?
I don't know, man. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna give it a shot. I was listening a few podcasts back. I think I might have been listening to some old episodes anyway. And you said you were, having some trouble filling spots. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna help my boy Steve out.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I'm appreciative. I was just busting your chops. I'm sure you sharpened your verbal skills in the jail there. Man. All right, let's
definitely.
Let's get into it. Let's see. Tell us about the first time you responded to a hot call, or first call that really got the hair up on your neck.
So the first hot call, I would say I'd been on my own out of FTO phase for about a month. So I'd been actually on patrol for probably about 4 months at this point. And the local PD here, they're real small. They have like 2 guys working at a time per shift. So they're like super small. So, we try to help them out if I didn't have anything going on out in the county. And, so they found a guy, they knew where he was. He had warrants on him. They wanted to pick him up, and they're like, hey, he's a runner. So I'm like, that's cool. I'm new. I'm ready to go. I'm like, I can run. I'm a runner too. Totally not a runner though. But, so we have another deputy. He's a few minutes out. He's coming. And it's just me and this other, police officer from the local PD. And we both take the same approach, instead of one of us, being smart and going, maybe another route. But so we walk straight up to the guy because the officer, he's pretty new too. So we're like, hey man, what's going on? And he knew why we were there. So he like starts kind of like walking backwards. We're in a park, like a playground, and he starts walking backwards. And the officer's like, hey man, where are you going? And when I heard that, I was like, God. And it's on. This dude takes off like a gazelle, right? And like I said, I'm not a runner. In my mind, I was running really fast,
right?
But they're like just leaving me. So, they cut out, they jump over. The dude clears the fence, like doesn't even touch it. He just like he's running hurdles, clears the fence. The other guy, the other officer, he's got long legs, so he does the same thing. So I get there and I hop over it, but my radio falls off on the other side. So then I have to like jump back over the fence, pick my radio up, then jump back over the fence again. And by this time they're long gone, man. So, I'm still running, trying to catch them. And I finally, there's this big canal that, where how do I want to describe it? Anyway, it's a big canal. And you can go left or right. So they went to the left, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the right in case he tries to cut back across. And so I go right, they go left. They get up there, and the officer actually catches he catches him. So he grabs him, and then they start to fight. And like I said, I've been there for about a month. This is the first real like adrenaline pump I've had on the job,
Sure.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump this ditch and I'm going to help them. So I go to jump the ditch. That wasn't an actual ditch. Like I said, it was a canal. This thing's like 10 foot wide. I'm going to say, I don't know how deep it was. I couldn't stand up. So I end up like jumping. And in my mind, I'm like clearing this thing. In reality, I go about 2 feet maybe. And so I just like sink. So I've got all my gear on, and the sheriff's department I was with then, we still wore, like the button down shirts, the really hot polyester pants, I guess they're made of,
Sure.
And like the shiny dress shoes. So it's not the best uniform to be chasing somebody in. But anyway, so I jump, like I said, land smack dab in the middle of this canal and have to swim across the rest of the way.
How far was this distance,
man?
End
up frying my radio. Dude, like it was probably like, in my mind, it was, just a couple of feet. It was like a mud puddle. In reality, I would say it's probably, 10, 15 feet wide.
Oh, man, you were pumped.
So, not super long. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was total tunnel vision. So, yeah, I fried my radio and my taser. And like I said, I had like a month on by myself. So the surprisingly, like the supply sergeant, he didn't give me a hard time. He's like, hey, man, those things happen. So they just want to know, did we catch the guy? Which, we did.
That's awesome. Did you take a ribbing for that for just months and months on end?
Oh man, so my first foot chase, I was on Facebook Live, right?
Oh,
yeah,
really?
So my wife actually saw it later. Yeah, because like I said, it's a small town, it's a small community. So once something like that gets out, everybody sees it. My wife found it. She's like, "Hey, I found you on Facebook," and it looked pretty bad on Facebook Live. There's the lady that was recording. I remember her kid. He's sounding young, probably like 4. She's like, the kid's like, "Mommy, why did that man just jump in that water?"
Oh, man.
So yeah, watching it, I felt like a total idiot all over again.
That's awesome. Hey, man, at least you tried. A lot of more salty guys might have not even done anything.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, I was young, so I got vision, which, the longer you're in it, the easier it is to resist that, I guess. But yeah, I had a month on, so I was, it's whatever. It's a learning experience, I'll say that.
So you were on a month. Were you out of field training at this point?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have clarified. I did field training for 10 weeks, and at this point, I was on my own for about a month. So I'd actually been on for probably about what was that, three months or so, but actually by myself for about a month of that.
Okay. How long is the academy in North Carolina? I'm just curious.
So here it's actually run through a community college, and if you can go full time, or you can do night classes, or they do a part time school specifically for people that are jailers or corrections officers, because a lot of agencies, I know they have like weird schedules, so they work with you on your schedule. But I was lucky enough, I was able to go to the full-time class, and it was 13 weeks, I believe.
Oh, okay. And did you have to sleep over or no?
Oh, no, thank God, man. It was like Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 pretty much. Some things we had to do at night, but for the most part it was just Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, I didn't have to sleep over either. That's like a nightmare to me.
Oh yeah, I went I went through boot camp. I was in the military prior, and I was like, man, I do not. If I have to do this again, I'm not doing it. But I got lucky.
Yeah, you're scarred emotionally from your experience. I totally get it.
Yeah.
All right, Hunter, tell us about the strangest or most bizarre thing you dealt with.
Of course, it would be on a night shift, right? Because that's when
naturally
all the weird stuff happens. Yeah. So I was in the county, just in my area I was assigned to. It was pretty quiet. The area next to mine. So the way it works, we ride one to a car. I think a lot of counties do that, from my understanding. So if they get something pops off, you'll just go to the next area to back them up. And so I forget exactly how the call came out, but it was pretty much a squatter call. This building had been damaged during a flood, and he went over there to check it out, and there was someone living in it. They weren't there at the time, but the signs were there. And they said, when they gave the call out over the radio, said that he found several adult toys. And so that kind of piqued my interest. I'm like, what is going on over here? So, hey, I radioed into dispatch, like, hey, I'm going to go back her up on this call. I'm going to go help out. Totally just being nosy. So we get there, and sure enough, it was a double wide trailer. It had been damaged in a flood some months back before that. And so we go inside, and for some reason, instead of using the door, whoever was staying there had not somehow made a hole in the floor, and they would just like drop down through the floor and crawl out. I guess they were trying to be sneaky. Sure. But they had like a line hung so they could wash and dry their clothes in this abandoned house. They had a small some kind of like mattress on the floor. I mean, if I was going to be homeless, that's the way I would do it. But and so there's the small, I say small, it's an igloo cooler in the room where they had all their stuff, and the guy's like, it's in there, and I'm like, what's in there? So of course I was just a backup, so I let the primary officer handle all that. And so she gloved up, of course, opens up the cooler, and there's a like a supersized bottle of baby oil. And man, there was probably like 6 or 7 dildos in there.
Oh man.
And yeah. Oh, and yeah. Like an entire latex butt.
What?
That, it serves the same purpose as a latex butt, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I get, yeah, if you're using your imagination, there's a full size like latex butt. I guess you've got an imagination, you can figure out what the guy was doing with it. But yeah, it was, and the guy was like, "You want to take them for evidence?" We're like, "No, we're leaving those here."
Yeah, that's your personal property. You go ahead and leave that. So let me ask you this, Hunter: is this a man's butt or a woman's butt?
I'm not. well versed in.
You didn't examine it
in that area, you know. So, yeah, I didn't examine it that close. I really didn't. I didn't want to get that close to it. I would hope that it would be a woman's butt. I'm just, just going out there. I would hope it's a woman's butt, but yeah, I didn't.
I don't know. I think evidenced by the amount of dildos and baby oil, it may not have been.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, it was just. I mean, it was weird.
Holy cow, that's really bizarre. Now, did you ever run into the gentleman who was living at this place and utilizing this apparatus?
I did not. I don't know that. Like I said, it was a different area than where I was assigned, so I don't know if maybe someone else, went back out there and followed up on it, or if the guy found out we were there and he, never came back. I never heard anything. I didn't follow up on it. It's not something it's really not someone I wanted to run into.
Yeah.
I wasn't just hunting them down,
No, yeah. I don't blame you on that one. I had I talked about it in the podcast, I don't know, 50 episodes ago, but I had a DUI arrest where I arrested this guy on St. Patty's, and his teeth were all stained purple, and he'd spilt wine on himself, and he was just a mess. And afterwards, my sergeant was like, "Come look at what I got out of this guy's trunk," and it was just like you said, it was just a plethora of dildos and sex toys, and just.
Oh yeah, I remember that episode. Yeah.
Oh, you heard that one? Yeah, it was so he had a dildo that you screw on top of a champagne bottle, and you shake up the champagne bottle, and then it's like a volcano, let's say. It was really, really disturbing. Cops, we have a pretty weird sense. I kind of want to see that in action just a little bit. Not enough to try it, but I kind of want to see how that works. Yeah. What exactly is going on with it? And then he had amyl nitrate, which are like poppers, so I called a nearby town that has a very large gay community, and I asked them about it, and their sergeant was like, "Oh yeah, that's gays use that to they break it under their nose, and it loosens their sphincters or something." I don't suppose it doesn't have to be doesn't have to be gay men, but I mean anybody who wants their sphincter loosened could use amyl nitrate. I was like, wow, there's something I learned that I really wish I could forget about.
Yeah, for real.
That's really so. You just spurred that memory.
So man, I've actually. Yeah, you're welcome for that. You're welcome.
You were saying something, brother. I think we got a little bit of a delay. I think I cut you off.
Oh no, yeah, I was saying I remember that episode. I think I've heard just about every episode you have, man. Once I found you, I went back and binge listened to every episode that's out there, I think.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, that's one thing where the show's doing really well. Like we had almost 30,000 listens last month, but it just seems like it needs to be found. Like once people find it, I've had people write to me and say that they've listened to every episode twice, which is amazing. I just gotta find a better way to. I did use a Facebook ad, which cost me some money, not a lot, but it kind of worked. But I need to somehow get eyes on this. So tell everybody would you?
Oh yeah, man, I already do. I tell everybody. It's like I said, riding around here most of the time. It's pretty quiet nights when I'm at work. So man, I listen to you. I would say sometimes I listen to you 10 hours straight, man. So
that's awesome.
Not creepy at all.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm a total fanboy.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate it. Hunter, can you tell us about your most intense or terrifying call? Oh yeah. So
actually this wasn't even, I guess, technically a call I was on. I was working a special assignment. We have a pretty major interstate that runs through the county. And so the construction company that was working at night would contract the sheriff's office to have deputies go out there at night while they were working with our blue lights on, just to try to get people to move over from where they were trying to work at. So I was it was the first night I'd worked this extra assignment. I'm sitting there, I've got my blue lights on, and I'd been there for I don't know, it's a few hours, I guess. And just sitting there and cars are going by. I'm in my car. And, when cars go by, I'm sure you've been on side of the highway before and a car goes by and it just kind of like shakes the car,
Sure.
when they're going real fast. So they're doing that, and I'm I get used to it. I'm not thinking anything about it. And then this semi truck just like flies by me. I'm like, whoa, he was really close. And I look up, and he just, barely missed the front of my car, man. And it took me a second to process what was going on. I hear like this huge like boom, and I look, I see a big cloud of dust, and I see this semi truck like in the air. Like the truck, trailer, everything was in the air. And I'm like, what happened there? And for a second, I thought it was, one of the trucks from the construction company, a dump truck dumping dirt or something. So it was happening really fast, but in my mind, it was really slow. And so I was like, why is that truck in the air? Like, that's really what I thought. And then I realized like, oh man, this truck just ran through this construction zone.
Oof.
So, I jump out, I run over there. And so what had happened was there were 4 or 5 guys, I think it was 4 guys, working in the median of the interstate. And the truck just plowed right through all 4 of them.
Ooh.
I think there was 2 of the guys, I don't know how it happened, they were shaken up completely uninjured, right? I don't know how they managed it. One guy, it hit him. I think it might have broken his leg. But other than that, he was shaken up, but he was fine. There was another guy. He was under the truck. So we finally get him out from under the truck. And by the time we got him out, there were, of course, Highway Patrol that arrived there. There's 2 or 3 Highway Patrolmen, me and another deputy. He was out there working also. So I'm with the guy that we just got out from under the truck. Me and the Highway Patrolman are, trying to work on him. Well, the patrolman has a tourniquet. So I go to lift up the guy's leg because he was bleeding pretty bad from the leg. So the trooper could slide the tourniquet on his leg. When I picked it up, I grabbed him around the calf. I picked it up. All I got was from the knee down, like I got his, half his leg. I'm just holding my hand.
Man.
And I'm like, holy cow. Yeah. And that was kind of odd because, I don't know about everywhere else in the country, but around here, the sheriff's department, we don't do a lot of car accidents or car wrecks. If it happens in the city limits, the local police department handles it. Or if it happens out on a county road, the Highway Patrol, State Highway Patrol, they actually come handle it. So as a deputy, I didn't have a lot of experience, with car accidents. So this was like, wow, this kind of not blew my mind, but it was, real eye opener when I pick up this guy's leg to put a tourniquet on, and that's all I get is his leg. So that was pretty intense.
Wow. Now, is this his whole leg from like his thigh to his foot?
This is like from the knee down.
You just grabbed it and then
the truck hit him, and I like I said, I was picking it up so the trooper could slide his the tourniquet on, and when I picked it up, I was like, oh man.
Wow, that's disgusting.
Yeah, we ended up we closed down the entire interstate that night, I think, and between us and the rescue squad, we landed 3 medical helicopters on the interstate that night because the guy that broke his leg, that guy obviously that was messed up, missing his leg, and then the driver of the truck that ran through there, I think what happens, he actually had I think they said it was either a seizure or a stroke, and that's what caused him to lose control of his truck. So we had to, fly him out of there also.
Oh man, that's crazy. I was going to ask you what caused it, but yeah, that's yikes. That's why they're so strict with those guys in their medical and their logs to make sure that doesn't happen. But can't avoid it, I guess. Yeah,
and like I said, it was crazy because of we have in the county, we have, I think it's 41 miles of interstate. It's a pretty major interstate running north and south here. We have like 41 miles of it. What are the chances of, that particular spot where those guys are working? That's where the guy, strokes out and just plows through them. It's like, just my luck.
Yeah, really. So do you know, were they able to, did this look like something they were going to reattach, or was it pretty badly ripped off?
I honestly don't know. That's another thing. I didn't follow up on it.
Was it a light leg ripping, or
they're working? What, I say that again.
Was it like a light leg ripping, or one of those messy ones?
Oh, it was definitely messy, man. There was a lot of blood.
Yikes!
I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't able to reattach it. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but it looked pretty gruesome.
Man, sounds like it. Had you seen, to this point, had you seen gore like that before in your career?
No, not to that extent. I'd seen, we have a pretty high crime rate, so I'd seen, people shot, a lot of gunshot wounds, dog bites, but that was probably the goriest scene that I had encountered up to that point. Yeah. Isn't
it weird when you see gory stuff like that, and you're like, in real life for the first time, and it's like it's not real. It's like it's Hollywood or something. It's just like unbelievable what you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly, man. And like, that's what I said. Like, when I picked, or that's what I thought when I picked the guy's leg up. I'm like, why do I have this? Why is this? It didn't connect like right away. Like, I'm holding this guy's leg in my hand, and I can't figure out like why it's in my hand and not still, attached to him. Yeah. It was surreal.
Yeah. The first time I ever saw anything really gory was I was actually on my way into work. I was a natural resource officer, and I was brand new. And but I would go into work, I think, with like my duty pants and boots, and then like just a fleece or something. I wasn't like in full uniform, but I was going down the highway, and I watched this car skid out of control and go off the road into the median, which was kind of maybe 75 feet wide and had some trees in it. And I pulled over, and because he left the roadway at like, it must have been like 75 miles an hour. And this guy's car is like up against, its nose is, the grill's on the ground, and the ass end of the car is leaning up against a tree, like vertically. It's like, like end over end.
Holy cow.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I gotta, now I gotta get on my radio, brand new, and like, I'm like, don't let your voice be too shaky. I was like, just get this out. So I'm fighting to call someone, and the guy comes out of the car, flops out of the door, and he is covered in blood. Like, over his eyes is slit open. You can't see his eyes. It's just blood streaming down everywhere. And then I'll never forget, he was like a mason or something. Or a mason's assistant. He was had his tools, and his jeans were ripped with stone dust all over him, and he had broken his arm, and the bone was sticking out, and it was like, looking at it, I was like, whoa, oh my gosh. So I don't know what to do with the compound fracture. I'm like, I'm not really remembering what they told us to do in, first responder with a tourniquet. I don't know. So the guy can talk though. And he told me, he's like, it's my fault. I was speeding. I'm on the way to a job, and I don't want my boss. And he's like, making this big excuse to me, like I care, but obviously he was in shock. But yeah, man, that whole situation like stuck in my head for like weeks. I thought about that guy, and he looked like an animatronic gore like puppet. It was just like, wow, that couldn't have been real.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, it's crazy, man. As when you mentioned a tourniquet, it made me think of another story. Actually, it's just a quick story. It's actually an open case. I don't want to say too much about it, but there was a shooting, and the first officer there, he was there. He was just right down the road. Just so happened, they gave the call out within 20 seconds. He was there, and the guy had been shot in the face. I don't remember how many times, but he had, one shot to the face. Yeah. And so the officer, he was kind of panicking. He's like, I need a tourniquet. And everyone's like, yeah, a tourniquet's not, you're going to put it around his neck. Like, it's not going to help that guy.
Yeah.
So tourniquet's not, it's a good thing to have, but it's not the answer to everything,
Yeah, when this happened, it was like early 2000s, so they weren't giving us tourniquets. It was more like I was remembering like using your belt. You know what I mean? Like I was like, what am I supposed to do? Use my belt? Or,
yeah.
Yeah, but geez, Louise.
Yeah, you're straight up like Rambo in it, huh?
Yeah, I didn't do any of that. I just stared at him. Then like a trooper ran down the embankment and was like, he had like a little medical kit. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go check some hunters. Yeah. This is ridiculous.
You were new. It's like, I need an adult.
Exactly. Somebody help us. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're bringing back all these stories from my career, man. It's funny.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got quite a few.
Yeah, I got some piled up in there. Now, I'm interested to know, have you had an encounter with the police before you were an officer?
Oh, yeah, man. Definitely.
Hunter, I just got a message about this. Someone was curious about, is there any hope if you've had encounters with the police before you become a cop? And of course there is, but I think that listener will really appreciate this answer.
Oh yeah, definitely. As long as you haven't, straight up murdered someone, you're not
right.
An axe murderer. But yeah, I actually did. I got in a little trouble. Other than, I think everyone has, a speeding ticket or two out there, but I actually got ticketed for night hunting. I just gotten out of the military right before I got in law enforcement. I was kind of wild, and me and a buddy of mine, we were out night hunting. So I guess in some places actually probably called poaching. So if you don't have any PETA listeners, but yeah, I we killed a doe at night. Like I said, it was after hours. We used a spotlight, and so the game warden, you natural resource guys, somehow y'all found out and tracked us down, and we got we didn't get arrested, but we got ticketed for it. Had to pay restitution for I don't know how they came up with the amount of the deer, but it was like $1,400 restitution on top of the fines for the ticket. So, but yeah, it was not a happy time, and it was pretty expensive. But I'd always wanted to be a cop, so it's like, man, for your listeners that have wondered, like, man, this is gonna kill it. Like, I'm never gonna get in law enforcement, but it's one of those things. The people I've encountered, as far as going through the hiring process, it's just one of those things that we understand. Everybody screws up. Everybody makes a stupid mistake. Just don't do it again. So.
All right, that's good to hear. Yeah, so in North Carolina,
if you've gotten in trouble, there's hope.
In North Carolina, that's hunting's big there, and is it like a felony or a misdemeanor when you do that?
Oh, I'm not sure. That was actually I still lived in Louisiana at the time.
Oh,
so it was a misdemeanor there. Yeah, I think obviously I'm not real schooled up on the wildlife code, but what I had was just a misdemeanor. I'm sure if you just go on a shooting spree and you're knocking down 10 or 20 animals, it could probably lead into a felony. But I just got a misdemeanor citation for it. Jacking
deer, man, in the bayou.
Yeah, we actually it was not a good time in my life. I've made my parents really proud.
Oh yeah, well, we all have periods in our life like that when our parents are scratching their heads like, I thought I raised this kid good. What's he doing? But hey, man, you
yeah.
You put your time in, you served, and I think you're allowed a little bit of leeway there.
I appreciate it, man. But yeah, for your listeners, there's hope. Stick to it. There's hope out there.
Excellent. All right, Hunter, can you tell us a heartwarming situation that you came across?
Heartwarming. Yeah. And you know what? If you don't mind, I'd just like to say I'm glad you asked that question because, a lot of people, especially in today's climate, they don't really, they don't see the heartwarming side of law enforcement. So I think that's a great question. And this one, to me, it's not something that's major. It's probably to a lot of people. It's not something that would stick out, but for some reason, it's just always hung in the back of my mind. I got a call at an elderly lady's house one time, and the dispatch gave it out over the radio. She thought she had something in her house. That's all they said. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So we get there, and the lady, I think she was in her 90s. She could get around, but it wasn't easy for her to get around. And she had in her kitchen just stacks and stacks of milk crates full of potatoes. I don't know, I guess she was going to eat them, but it was just, tons of potatoes. So I'm like, this is probably attracting all kinds of, creepy animals that shouldn't be in your house.
Sure.
So I talked to her and looked around. I was like, I told her the same thing. I'm like, hey, having all of these potatoes inside here is probably not the best idea. But she said that she had some mouse traps, but she was elderly, so she couldn't put them out. Did I mind helping her? And of course, it's not exactly in the job description, but public servant. Yeah, I didn't mind helping her. So I put out probably 20 mouse traps in this lady's house for her.
Oh man.
And just, she was just so happy that, somebody came to help her put out mouse traps, man. And just, she loved me after that.
Oh, I bet, man. That's awesome.
It was, and then come to find out, I think she said it was her son. It's been a little while back. Her son was actually a Baltimore PD officer. So, it was good. I felt like I was kind of able to look out for a Blue Brothers family, but she loved me after that. And it just made you feel good, just little things like that.
Absolutely. You got to do it. I mean, there's no way you're going to look at an elderly woman and say, I can't help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I worked with a sergeant that was like, just a heart of gold. And this guy, he would defy policy to help people. Like he would, if someone like blew a tire on the highway, like hit granite curbing or something and blew a tire, he would help them. He would run the jack. You know what I mean? He would like in our administration was like, hey, you gotta, you can do traffic for him, help him call AAA and all that, but we really don't want you changing tires, because if you get hurt on the side of the road doing that, we're not going to be too happy about it. But he would do anything. Great dude. But that's it's good for people to hear stories like that too, I think, because it's I don't think they realize how many hats cops wear. Like you are the catch-all for everything from helping that lady catch some mice to any animal control call ever if animal control is not on duty. Like there's a bat in my house. I saw a raccoon. Something went after my dog. They're calling you guys constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I'm from Louisiana, so that's not a big deal. Just don't call me for snakes. I will not go to your house for a snake. No.
I'm with you 100%.
So just about anything else I can handle. Snakes or no go.
Where I live in Southern California, they have, they got some nasty snakes. They got these diamondbacks and the green Mojave rattlers. And, I'm just terrified of them, man. I haven't seen one yet, but I'm going to bash it or shoot it when I do for sure. They have in North Carolina, they have like copperheads, right?
Yeah. They have, I'm not, copperheads, water moccasins, I think there are some rattlesnakes here. I'm not sure exactly what variety, but yeah, there's that's another thing. I don't get close enough to examine. If I see one, I'm usually going the opposite direction pretty quickly.
Yeah, I treat rattlesnakes like latex butt. I don't try to figure out what sex it is.
Yeah, I'm out of there.
Got it, man. Hey, now another really, really popular question on the show is advice to people getting into law enforcement. And I get emails from all ages. I get emails from people in their 50s to people who are in high school and just starting to think about it. So any advice you got for that would be great. Oh,
yeah, man. Just do it. Like I said, I when I got, those tickets, looking back now, I realize, it's just a ticket. It's not that big of a deal. But at the time, I was like, man, this is the end. Like my law enforcement career was over before I ever had a chance to get started. But, I grew and I matured and I figured out, just go for it. The worst that can happen is, they tell you no, but at least at that point you've tried to work with a guy now. He's a great guy. He's older. He's actually retired from his first job. And so his nickname is Paw Paw. That's what we call him. And he's cool with it, but he's in his 50s. And he says the major reasons he got into law enforcement, he said he's always wanted to do it. But he was talking to a friend of his, and this is after he retired, and his friend's like, no, you're too old. You can't do it. Like, you wouldn't be able to do it. And that was all he needed to go through. He's like, okay, I'm going to do it just to show you that I can. And like I said, he's in his 50s. He went through, I forget how old he said he was, but in his early 50s, through the academy and everything. And he's out there on the streets every day with us, man. So just go for it. And another thing I would say is don't listen to the media hype that, they're out there to get ratings. They're not showing the truth of what's really going on. And for every one person I run into that, is just, I hate cops, there's probably 9 or 10 other people that are, hey, we appreciate your service. Thanks for thanking us for what we do. And it's kind of awkward, because to me, it's just a job. I love what I do. I get paid to do what I do. So it's kind of awkward when people thank me for it. The best thing I can do is, thank them for their support. But yeah, to anyone out there that's listening that just wants some advice, man, just go for it.
Absolutely. I agree totally. And it's really good to keep that perspective that we really get zeroed into the media, our TVs and our phones, and it's not reality. It's not what's actually going on. And I hear that time and time again from cops around the country that their communities appreciate them and they love them and they don't want them defunded. They don't want them to go anywhere, and they're grateful to have these cops. So I think that's the media would have you believe it's like 10% of people think that 90% of people want cops gone. I think it's reverse. I think it's like 97% of people
it's the opposite,
want cops, and 3% are, clearly retarded and don't. So that's great advice, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Hunter, I wanted to ask you, I saw in your bio here a little bit that you were on a high-risk crime team. Was that for narcotics, like plainclothes stuff?
Oh, yeah. So it was kind of a hybrid. The sheriff's office I was working at previously, a new sheriff came in, and he kind of wanted to take a more aggressive approach. So he created what they called the community impact team. And that was, we would go into high crime areas, a lot of drug crimes, street level drug crimes, stuff like that, and just take a more aggressive enforcement approach, I guess. We weren't, you have to be careful with that word aggressive these days. We weren't, bashing skulls in, but
Sure.
We were hitting it at, peak hours. We were staying out till, late at night. And yeah, sometimes we would go, we had marked patrol cars we were issued, but we had access to unmarked, undercover cars because we were assigned to the narcotics unit. And, of course, those guys, they drive some wacky vehicles. They look wacky. They drive wacky vehicles. So, we had access to their cars, and we would do undercover surveillance sometimes, sitting down the road from a house hours at a time, just, logging, what's going on. Just, is this a target worth, coming back and spending some time on? So, yeah, it was pretty fun. I got in that role, I got to assist with the SWAT team some, serving warrants. So it was a pretty good thing. It was a crazy schedule. It wasn't the schedule's what got me, man. I'm a family guy, and it wasn't jiving with my family life. So I gave it up and went back to patrol, but I'm definitely got some good experience there. On that team.
What's the drug of choice in there?
Guys too.
I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish, Hunter.
The drug of choice.
We got a really long delay here.
Yeah, we're on opposite sides of the country, man. The drug of choice around here is mostly, of course, everybody smokes weed these days, but hard drugs would be crack cocaine and meth. There's some heroin. There's a little bit of heroin, but mostly crack.
Really? So crack is big there.
Yeah, that's I run into more crack than anything out there, really.
Wow, man, that's sad. That's that I don't blame you with the whole schedule thing and just the clientele. The clientele for police is already terrible, and when you're in narcotics, plainclothes, you are just dealing with just filthy people constantly. No offense to them, I know they're drug addicts and they need rehabilitation and all that good stuff, but man, they're dirty and diseased, and
they're still nasty.
Yeah, and you feel like never mind, taking your boots off. You feel like throwing your boots in the woods before you walk through the door. So yeah, good on you getting out of that.
And that's always, and that's like, it's one thing when I was in the academy that I was like, man, I want to work narcotics. I want to go to the, I want to work drugs in some form. So I got my chance to do that. Actually pretty soon out of the gate. Honestly, I'd only been on patrol for a couple of years at that point when I got that opportunity. But I got the opportunity to do it, and when I told him, it was like, I went to the my boss, the supervisor. It's like, look, this is the problem I'm having. I can't do it anymore. Everyone's like, look, everybody's got a family. We understand. So they didn't give me a hard time about it or anything. They were real cool with it. But it was definitely, like I said, a great opportunity, and I'm glad I got the chance to do it.
Oh yeah, it's really fun. Wearing plain clothes and being on duty is like the most fun thing to do, I think, when you're a cop. When you're new to it, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm on duty, but I'm not wearing the uniform. It's great.
Yeah. It's like you feel kind of like Dirty Harry, like all these guys you've seen on TV growing up, plain clothes. It was cool.
Absolutely, that's awesome, man. Hey, brother, I really appreciate you coming on the show, my man.
No, thanks for having me, man. It was fun.
No, it was good. I love having people from all over the country come on, and like you said, you're all the way across the country, North Carolina. So what is it? What is it, like Friday over there right now?
Almost. All right. Yeah, I don't recall. Like I said, I think I've heard all your podcasts, but I don't recall anyone from North Carolina. So I was kind of hoping to be the first. I don't know. Maybe you have, and I just missed it.
No, I think I've been contacted by a female officer who she needed clearance from her department though, I think she was North Carolina. She wanted to come on, but she never got it. I think we had Tennessee, we've had Georgia. Yeah, but North Carolina, I think you're the first. And man, that I'm a fan of North Carolina. I like that place. My wife and I have been recently been kind of looking at relocating, getting the hell out of Southern California. And our big hope is that my company would transfer my job. If like a investigator spot came open in the Northeast, I would go back closer to family. But if I could get somewhere that's like driving distance to them, like North Carolina or Tennessee it's like a day, it's like 17-hour drive. That's not so terrible. I wouldn't have to put like a family of 5 on a plane. We could all take the car. But North Carolina, man, there's beautiful country there. We watched this guy named Justin Rhodes. He has like a vlog. He like has a little homestead. Man, it's beautiful, but it looks super humid, dude.
Oh yeah, it's definitely humid, man. But you get the best of both worlds because on one the east side of the state, you've got the beach. On the west side, you've got the mountains, so you've got everything in between. I'm from Louisiana, that'll always be home, but North Carolina is not a bad place to live. It's definitely, I like it here.
Awesome. Hey man, well if we come through that part, I'm looking you up.
Dude, definitely hit me up, man.
Awesome.
We'll go hunting.
Yeah, hell yeah, we'll go jack some deer at night.
Yeah, nah, those days are behind me, man. But yeah, look me up. Definitely, we should get together.
All right, brother. Hey, I'm gonna do the little bumper and outro here. Just hang on the line, okay?
Okay.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you love the show and you want to show some support, you can go to thingspolicec.com and click the donate button. We are 100% listener funded, so if you've been enjoying all the content we provide, we surely appreciate the support. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time.